An emotional tribute at Churchill Downs today, honoring the man who spent decades as one of the best horse trainers in the world. Dwayne Lukas passed away at his home overnight. He was 89. Thanks for joining us here at 6:30. I'm Alex Dieterer. Sports anchor Sarandon Raboyne joins us now as we continue to honor Lukas and what he meant to the horse racing world.
Yeah, Alex, Lukas was a monumental figure at Churchill Downs, and already tributes are pouring in for the legend. In the statement, his family said Lukas brought heart, grace, grit to the horse racing sport, saying in part his final days were spent at home in Kentucky, where he chose peace, family, and faith. Sports director Kent Spencer has a look back at Lukas's life and the legacy he leaves in the horse racing world.
Dwayne Lukas was born and raised in Wisconsin, a man who would start as a basketball coach, transitioned into one of the greatest thoroughbred trainers this earth has ever known. His last few years, Lukas was still going strong. His wife, Lori, would often join him in his office. If these walls could talk, concrete covered by history and inspiration.
I can't keep up with him. We're 17 years apart and I can't keep up with him.
After switching over from quarter horses to thoroughbreds in 1968, the goal was simple.
As soon as I started switching over, I realized that the Derby was the one that you wanted on your resume.
Lukas attended his first Kentucky Derby in 1980. Genuine Risk captured the Garland of Roses that day. He still remembers his feelings from the stands.
You feel like you're in the big leagues, and you better step it up.
He was hooked. He entered his first horse in the Derby the very next year, Partez, who finished third to Pleasant Colony. In 1988, an elusive Derby victory was finally his.
Lukas and Stevens, it's a driving finish, winning colors by a head.
When you win that first one, you get all puffed up, you come back to the barn and you say, gosh, I just won the Kentucky Derby and what a great thing. And you really think it's you and you soak it up.
Lukas wins it.
Lukas would capture 3 more Derby wins, Thunder Gulch in 1995, Grindstone in 1996, and Charismatic in 1999.
Charismatic trained by Lukas on the outside.
It's the victory with Grindstone that is the most special, because he was able to get W.T. Young and Overbrook Farm to the winner's circle on the first Saturday in May.
We embraced and exchanged some words, and I think that moment was very special to him, obviously, and very special to me.
Through the years, Lukas saw several of his assistant trainers go out on their own and accomplish great things in the sport.
It allowed you the opportunity to work with some really good horses. It allowed you some responsibility, on your own while still under sort of a coaching umbrella.
I didn't hire anybody that I didn't think would go out on his own eventually. If they didn't have that drive and passion that I thought someday they'd walk in and say, boss, I'm going to try it on my own, I didn't want them.
With all of his accomplishments, the outside of his barn looks more like a record book. Last year, the Kentucky Derby Museum honored Lukas with their first ever Lifetime Achievement Award.
Dwayne Lukas has done it.
Little did anybody know he would have one more trick up his sleeve when Seize the Gray won him his 7th Preakness.
One of the things that was very significant to me today, and maybe it's because I'm getting a little bit older, but as I came out of the grandstand and out across the racetrack, every one of the guys that were in that race stopped and hugged me and gave me a handshake. That meant more to me than any single thing.
Dwayne Lukas, a man who lived a life that will forever remain in the winner's circle. Kent Spencer, WHAS 11 News.
And sad news for the horse racing community today, but Sarandon, you got to speak with Dwayne Lukas ahead of Derby 151. Can you tell me about that experience?
Well, first of all, everyone knows what a character Dwayne Lukas was on the backside. His barn, as you saw, is covered with accolades, so you never could miss it. It was so easy to spot, and I had the honor to speak with him and to kind of just ask him what it was like to prep for another Derby, especially at 89. and he was like, you know what? As long as I can resist the pull of the sofa, I'm going to be out here on my horse, out here training horses. He loved it. He had such admiration for everyone on the backside, and everyone had such love for him. And like I said, his barn was so easy to spot, and you would see so many people coming over to see him, and we are just going to miss him, I think, a little bit every single Derby.
Well, thank you for sharing that story, Sarandon. We now want to head to Churchill Downs, where WHAS11's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester are. And Clarice, the track has been honoring Lukas all day today.
Alex, that's correct. It's closing of spring races here at Churchill Downs, and that's actually how a lot of people tell me they heard of the news of the passing of this icon today by those announcements made here. It definitely is, like you've said, a sad day for horse racing today, and many people who knew Lukas are actually here at Churchill today. They say they don't know horse racing without him in it, and for many people I spoke to, this loss is felt across the sport of horse racing.
Saying too, you probably won't feel the effects of it until these monumental races like Derby and all the different races that they have that are so instrumental in the horse industry, that you won't feel him here physically, but you'll feel his presence all the time.
Wayne Lukas is an icon that none of us will forget anytime soon, because he's left a lasting impression deep with many of us.
It's too early for Churchill Downs to say how they plan to honor Lukas. They want to talk to his family and see what the best way to do so is. But he already has a race at Churchill Downs. It's called Lukas Classic. It happens in September here. Alex?
All right, thank you, Clarice. And a beautiful day to be at Churchill Downs today. It was another warm and humid day across Kentuckiana. But moving into the work week, our area could see some widespread storms. Meteorologist Danielle Moss joins us now from the Weather Center to time those all out. Danielle.
Alex, that is exactly right. We are looking at the potential for some stronger storms to develop for your Monday. As of right now, we do have some isolated showers that are working across the Ohio Valley. And as we take a closer look into Kentuckiana, we do see some isolated showers as well into north of Louisville. But right now, we're not looking at any severe weather, just some isolated downpours. Here's a live look into downtown this evening, and it is absolutely gorgeous out there. What a beautiful way to wrap up our day. Currently, it's 88 degrees, but it feels like 94 when you factor in that humidity. We didn't get much rainfall here in Louisville, so that's why the humidity is a little bit elevated this evening. Over the next 2 hours, you could continue to see some of these spotty showers kind of developing, but most of us should be staying dry. Here's what you need to know. We could have another chance for some more morning fog for tomorrow. Then we'll be tracking some scattered showers and storms for your Monday. Good news, we should be drying out by Wednesday and staying dry through 4th of July, which is great news for us. But if you take a look at your severe weather outlook for your Monday, we are in a level 1 for strong to severe storms. Some of the winds could be gusty. We could be seeing some heavy downpours at times, which could prompt some flash flooding. And then as you take a quick look at what we can expect, rainfall could start as early as 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we have a second round right after that. Have more details coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thanks, Danielle. We have an update tonight for you on the double shooting that happened in the Russell neighborhood last night. LMPD had originally reported that one of the 2 women shot had died from her injuries at the hospital. However, in an overnight update, LMPD says the woman actually survived and is currently in critical condition at U of L Hospital. And new tonight, LMPD is investigating after 2 people were shot in the Parkland neighborhood earlier today. Police say they responded to the shooting on 33rd Street near Garland Avenue around 2 this afternoon. When officers arrived, they found 2 men had been shot. Both were taken to the hospital where they are expected to survive. Anyone with information about either of these shootings should call the anonymous tip line. That number is 574 LMPD.